Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to walk through with you about Amazon Web Services command line interface for IoT and work together with Mosquitto and actual IoT device. In this walkthrough, I will use Arduino Yun. Please note that at the time of making this video, the AWS IoT service is still in beta version, so you can expect it to change from time to time. Before the walkthrough, I would like to start with a little introduction about AWS IoT. So AWS IoT is a service that provides secure bidirectional communication between Internet connected things and Amazon Web Services Cloud. The Internet connected things that I mentioned could be sensors, actuators, embedded devices, or many other smart appliances. This enables you to collect telemetry data from multiple devices to store and analyze the data. You can also create applications that enable your users to control these devices from their smartphones or tablets. In this walkthrough, I will spread this video into three parts. The first part will be focusing on setting up the AWS command line interface in your machine. I'm using Mac, so I will be focusing this walkthrough with Mac. For the second part, I will show you how to use AWS IoT service to work together with MQTT client. And the last part, I will show how to use actual device to work with AWS IoT service. In this case, I will be using Arduino Yun. So let's get started. First, you need to install AWS command line interface. You can head toward this website over here. I'll put this link in this video description. Supported operating systems include Windows, Linux, Mac, and Unix. I'm using Mac OS, so for this walkthrough, I'm going to show you how to install AWS CLI in your Mac machine. If you are using Windows, you can just click this link over here and follow the instructions. For Mac, Linux, and Unix, there are two ways to install this CLI. First, you can install AWS CLI using PIP. PIP is a Python-based tool that offers convenient ways to install, upgrade, and remove Python packages and their dependencies. So if you are familiar with PIP command, you can just click this link over here. For the second method, you can install AWS CLI by using the bundle installer. For this walkthrough, I'm going to use this method. Click this. Scroll down over here. Open up your terminal. Make sure you are in the directory you are comfortable with. For my case, I create a new folder called AWS in my desktop and change my terminal directory to this folder. Copy this line over here. Click enter, and this will download the AWS CLI bundle zip file. I will fast forward this download part. So after you finish downloading the file, unzip the file using this line, and then copy the next line to execute the installation. For the flag I, here refer to the install directory of this CLI, and this flag B stands for bin location, which to create the symlink of AWS in your machine. Password is required when you execute the sudo command or the installation. I will fast forward this installation part. After the installation is finished, to make sure it is installed properly, you can type in this command line, and it will show you the version of your AWS command line interface. So next, sign to your AWS console. If you don't have any AWS account, you can sign up for their free trial account, and this will provide you a free trial of Amazon Web Services that are available up for 12 months. You can check it out more here in this website. I'll put this link in my video description. So they offer free trial as well for their IoT service, and it is up to 250,000 messages per month, which is sufficient for us to do some IoT testing. So if your usage exceeds this limit, you will be charged accordingly. For more details, you can check with their pricing in this link below. So now, click the sign in to the console button. If you have logged into your account before, you will be able to see this loading page. Now, I need to go to my security credential to configure my IAM. After clicking in, a pop-up will appear and asking me to continue with my security credential or get started with IAM users. So before I get started with IAM users, I would like to explain what is IAM. IAM stands for AWS Identity and Access Management. So basically what it does is to allow you to control which user can actually use your AWS resources in a secure way. Now let's click the Create New Users button and type in the username. Let's call it IoT user. Then click Create. After that, the access key ID and secret access key will appear. For future reference, you can download the credentials, but in this walkthrough, I'll just configure my AWS directly in my command line interface. Now, open up our terminal and type in AWS configure. Let's copy the access key and paste it in our command line. Do this the same for the secret access key. For the region name, you need to go back to your AWS console and click the top right navigation. For example, I'm choosing US West, Oregon, and I need to go to this website from Amazon and click AWS IoT right here and refer to the name of the region. For my case is US West 2. Copy it and paste it in my command line. So for the default output format, I'll just leave it as default. Now go back to IAM Management Console. Again, for future reference, you can download a copy credential for your own. For this walkthrough, I'll just click Close and confirm to close it again. Then we need to attach the necessary policy to allow this user to use our IoT service. Click this user that we created earlier, and then in the Permission tab, click Attach Policy, type in IoT in the search box. In this example, we are going to give IoT full access to this user, then click Attach Policy. Now let's explore AWS console. Click AWS IoT, then click Get Started. Actually, in this IoT console, we can easily create a thing, create a rule, create a certificate and policy with provided user interface. But this walkthrough, I'll focus on AWS command line interface about IoT. Now open up the terminal. To create a thing, let's type in this command line. Let's call the IoT device as Arduino Yun. After creating it, we can check it in our AWS IoT console, refresh the browser, and there you go. Next, we need to provision a certificate with public and private key pairs to be used in AWS IoT. And this can be done with create keys and certificate command. Now let's type in this line. Oops, it seems there is a space in the command line. So if you type it correctly, you'll be able to see this. Go to your browser and refresh. You can see we have created the certificate. Now we need to create 3 files for these keys. Open up your favorite text editor. For me, I'm using Atom text editor, and I'm going to set up the directory to the AWS folder in my desktop. First, let's create a file called private.pem. You can create whatever the name it is, but make sure it is in PEM format. And then go to the terminal and copy the RSA private key. Make sure you copy it correctly. Start from before the dash until the end of the dash, and paste it in our private PEM file and save it. Secondly, is the private key. We're going to do it the same like saving the private key previously. And make sure the file format is PEM. Copy the public key, paste it, and save it. And lastly, is to store the certificate. I saved this for the last because there's a special way to do this. Instead of copy and paste it manually, we can use this command from AWS to store the certificate. Make sure you change the ID here. We can find our ID when we create keys and certificate here. Copy it and paste it and click enter. You'll notice that the file is added in the folder. Next, we need to create the AWS IoT policy. I'm going to show the example of creating it in the console. Basically, what the policy does is to specify the permission on the IoT operation. For example, I name my policy as policy. As you can see, the action available include IoT publish, subscribe, connect, receive, updating schedule, and getting schedule. If you want to select all, you can choose this asterisk sign. And for the resource, you can just put asterisk sign to choose all. And instead of creating the policy here, I would like to show you how to do it in the command line interface. Let's head back to our command line interface. We can type in this line. I will call my policy as my pub sub. And then we need to create a JSON file in the same directory we saved our certificate earlier. For my case, it's the AWS folder in my desktop. Type in this policy, which having the same settings I showed you earlier in the IoT console. You can find this policy in AWS IoT developer document. I'll put this link in this video description. Make sure the command is pointing to the JSON file I created. Let's refresh the browser. Now we're able to see the policy in our console. Next, we need to attach this policy to our certificate. And we need to type in this command. And make sure we change the Amazon resource name here, or ARN. We can find this during we perform the create keys and certificate command. Copy this and paste it. And we need to change this to the policy name I created, which is my pubsub. Oops, it seems I have typed in the extra thing in my line. When there's nothing, which means the line is going fine. So let's refresh the browser. There you can see the policy is attached to the certificate. And then we need to attach the certificate to our Arduino Yun. Let's type in this line. Make sure to change the thing name to Arduino Yun and also the ARN. To make sure the certificate is attached to our device, we can check it in the console. Let's refresh the browser. Now both the policy and our IoT device is attached to our certificate. So that's it. This ends the first part of this walkthrough. We have set up our AWS CLI in our Mac machine. We have registered our Arduino Yun in our AWS IoT service. We have created the policy, provisioned the certificate, and we attach both the Arduino Yun and our policy to our certificate. So in the next part of the walkthrough, we will use AWS IoT service to work together with MQTT client.